Good morning, everyone. So today we are here to continue the session that we were doing yesterday. So yesterday we were talking about planning of UX design. We talked about creation of wireframes, and we talked about some design patterns. Any doubts as of now in whatever we have covered till yesterday? Okay, so I've got a confirmation from Jaya that there are no doubts. What about the others? Okay, very good. So before I start with the session, I would like to take a roll call. So Jaya, I saw, is there. What about Shruti? Is Shruti there? Yes. Emmanuel from NIT Sadar? No. Thaila from NIT Chennai Adyar Center? I guess no. Debasri from NIT Adyar Center? Maria Sophia? Yes, I can see her. Roshni? Roshni is there? No. Mary? Is Metri there? Okay. Yes, she's there. Sayantan from Shyam Bazaar there? Sayantan from Shyam Bazaar? No. Cheshta from NIT Model Town? No. Gajendra from NIT Model Town? No. Swati from Deccan Center? Is Swati there? No. Soumya from NIT Chemix Street? Soumya there? Mandar from NIT Vasai? No. Ankita from NIT Vasai? Rajni from NIT Palam? Mahalakshmi from Malleshwaram? Yes. Sunil from Sector 14, Gurgaon? Swati from CP? Swati from CP, are you there? No. Priya from Agra Center? Karunambika from Coimbatore? Karunambika? Okay, CBTR 1 NIT. Is this Karunambika? Then Amit Punetha from Agra Center? Amit Punetha from Agra Center. No. Rameshwari from Bashir Bagh. We have 6 people, though there are 7 logins. That means one person is not on the seat. Okay. Anyways, we'll continue. Okay, so since there are no queries for what we covered yesterday, I'm proceeding to the next session. So yesterday we covered some design patterns. Now today we are going to cover some more design patterns related to forms, tables, search, sort and filtering, and also related to feedback and affordance. So these are some more patterns that we will be discussing. So let us start with the session. Okay, so first of all we'll be talking about form and table patterns. So at times we have to include forms in our applications, in our apps, and at times we have to include tables in our apps. So what is the best way of including tables, or what is the tried and tested way of including tables? This is what we will be learning about. So as the size of a mobile screen is very limited, so filling large forms will require you to scroll up and down. Similarly, reading the content of a table with smaller width columns will be a challenge for the user. Adjusting the forms and organizing the content becomes essential for acceptance of mobile apps. So because if you have very long forms and you have to scroll up and down, and if you have tables with very small columns which are hardly visible, so user will not like to use such apps, and he will definitely move on to another app. So that is why it is very important that we structure our forms and tables in a nice manner so that user has a good experience using them. Okay, so we'll learn about some of the patterns associated with forms and tables. So first of all, we'll talk about forms. So forms, as you know, are used to enter data by the user. In case the user fails to complete and submit the form, the problem of form abandonment occurs. That means at times if your form is too difficult to fill up, the user may leave your application and may look for some other similar application which provides similar functionality. So this is called form abandonment. Form abandonment is the rate at which the user gives up before completing, filling out and submitting on a form. Okay. Then to design effective mobile forms, UX designers need to use form design patterns, as I just explained. Now, some of the commonly used design patterns are sign-in, registration, checkout, multi-step form, and long form. So we'll be discussing each one of these in detail. Now, what are sign-in forms? What are sign-in forms? Anybody? Okay. So forms for logging onto an app or onto a website where we enter the login credentials, right? For example, Facebook login page. Very good. So login pages are those which we use to provide our credentials, a username and password, while logging onto a website or onto an app. Okay. So they are used to authenticate the users. Some popular patterns for sign-in form are single screen pattern, multi-screen pattern, fixed sign-in, and social sign-in. We'll discuss each one of these details. So the single screen pattern, let us take up that first. First, we have a multi-screen pattern. So let's do this first. So on this multi-screen pattern, what you can see here is there are two screens. On the first screen, the user clicks the sign in button, and on the second screen, he gets an option to provide his username and password and click the sign in button. And then there are also options for forgot password and join now, that is the register button. So if you have to register, then you can click the join now link, and if you have forgotten your password, you can click this link, forgot password. So there are two pages. So it's a multi-screen sign-in form. The other form that you can see here, it is a social sign-in form. Social sign-in form is nothing but you must have seen social sign-in forms being used very commonly these days, where you are allowed to log in with a third-party authentication provider such as Facebook or Google+. So you can just click on this button and you will be able to log in using your Facebook credentials. And if you click on the Google+ button, you will be able to log in using your Google+ credentials. Then we have so a sample sign-in form, single page sign-in form is shown here, where you have the option to provide your username, password, and then click on the login button. Again, you have a checkbox here to show your password, a link here to if you have forgotten your password, and a link to sign up to the page. Then there are also fixed sign-in forms. Now, what do we mean by fixed sign-in? Fixed sign-in is that type of sign-in pattern where the sign-in option is available on each and every page of your app. So this would mean that the user this would be used only when the user is allowed to explore your app and use certain functionalities without even logging in. Okay, but you would have noticed that these days most of the apps they require you to log in at the time of installation only. So this kind of a sign-in pattern, the fixed sign-in pattern, is hardly ever used in mobile apps. So the other three types of patterns are the only ones which are most commonly used. So this brings us to the end of sign-in forms. Any problem, any issue, or anything that you have not understood, any query you have in this? I think there was a query. Is WhatsApp an example of fixed sign-in? So does WhatsApp allow you to, does it provide a login option on every screen? It doesn't. So then it is not a fixed sign-in form. Okay. So it requires you to provide your sign-in information at the time of installing the app only. Okay, so I just explained that fixed sign-in is never used in mobile apps. It's hardly ever used in mobile apps, because mobile apps nowadays, they require people to sign in at the time of installation of the app itself. Okay, so most of the times that is the pattern that is being used. Okay, and for that it may be a single page sign in, it may be a multi-page sign in, it may be a social sign in. So whatever sign in type is there, it is used at the beginning itself, at the time when you're installing the app. So fixed sign in option is hardly ever used in mobile apps. Is this clear now? Okay. Okay. Any other doubt? Okay, I can see some people are joining late, but we already started at 9:30, which is half. We waited for half an hour for people to join, and I've already taken the attendance. So I would request you to please be here by 9 o'clock from tomorrow. So who all have joined? Who else? Who else has joined? I saw a message from Sham Bazar. Nobody else? Okay, so I'm marking only the attendance of Swati. Sham Bazar Sanatan. Okay. So I'm against your name, I'm marking that you were late for the session. So if you don't want me to do that from tomorrow, please be there on time. Okay. So now we'll be talking about registration forms and what are the most effective ways of designing registration forms. So registration forms, as you know, they are used to register users or take users' information at the time of signing them up with a particular app or with a website. So usually these forms consist of a number of input fields such as first name, last name, email address, confirm email address, password, and confirm password. Now, users are not interested in providing so much of information. Okay, so they want to get registered very quickly with providing just the bare minimal information. If the registration process takes too long, users generally bounce back from the app and switch to any other apps which provide similar functionality. Therefore, as a UX designer, we need to consider some guidelines while designing the registration forms. So what are those guidelines? Eliminate the use of unnecessary input fields. So just keep your input fields to a bare minimum, whatever is essential. Don't use any unnecessary input fields. Avoid placing labels and their corresponding input fields horizontally on the same screen. So as you know that the width of a mobile screen is very less. So if you put labels and text boxes in front of each other, so it will be very difficult for the user to fill up those entries. So always put them on a separate line. The label should be on one line and the form field should be on the next line. Use hint text wherever possible. Provide inline feedback to the user. So that means that as soon as the user enters a username, and if you are expecting the username to consist of letters, alphabets, and special characters maybe, so then immediately you should tell the user that okay, whatever username you have entered does not meet the required criteria, so you need to provide another username. Try to design the registration form in a way that it can fit into a single screen. Okay, so registration form should be as short and as simple as possible. So if possible, try to design it in such a way that you can just take all the information from the user in a single screen. So bare minimal information needs to be taken from the user. So now we have, next we have checkout forms. Now what are checkout forms? Anybody would like to explain? Payment forms, the end of a transaction requires a checkout form. After the transaction, checkout forms are required, for example, for giving the shipping address. Okay. Okay. So checkout forms are basically once you have selected while you are doing some online shopping. So once you have selected whatever items you want to select, and now you want to proceed towards finalizing your transaction. So then you get a checkout form where you have to specify your shipping address, your billing address, and other details, and then you proceed to the payment process. So that is called the checkout process. Okay, so how do we design the checkout forms? We are going to learn about that. So a good checkout process must consider the following tips: include sign-in, register, and guest options. So user may want to register with your site and then log in and then want to purchase something, or he may also want to purchase something as a guest. Okay, so you should provide all the options to the user. Then streamline the flow, provide time-saving features. So what could be time-saving features in this case? So what could be the time-saving features here? Okay, so remembering details from next time or last time. Remembering details from last time, saving the frequently used account details, authenticating the email and phone side by side, autocomplete feature. Okay, so maybe you can save the shipping address and billing address from last time, so that the user does not have to enter those details again. And with the user's permission, you can also save the payment details, right? So payment details can also be saved, but only with the user's permission, not without the user's permission. So that will save the user a lot of time. So if the user has registered and logged in, then his shipping details, billing details can be saved from the last time and pre-populated on the form. And if the user wants to change it, he should be provided the option to change it also, right? But otherwise, it should be pre-populated from nothing. But if the user is not a registered user and is a guest user, he will need to provide all these options every time he logs in. Okay. So regarding streamlining the flow, what is meant is that the checkout process should not span across multiple pages. Ideally, you should try to cover it on a single page. And you can use the drill down option. The drill down option would mean something like this, what you can see here. So here you have this button which says add payment information, add a payment method. So when you click on this button, it shows you a a sub form which takes the payment information from the user. Similarly, when you click the add a new shipping address button, so it will show a drill down form in which you can fill up the payment, the shipping address. Okay. What do we have next? Next we have multi-step forms. So multi-step forms consist of multiple screens where each screen prompts users to enter information specific to a subject. Okay. So at times you have forms where there are multiple screens. In each step you ask the user to fill up a particular kind of information, and then you ask the user to move on to the next step in the process. So in this case, what you should do is, like you can see on the top of the first form here, you have something written over there which says 1 of 4. Okay, so 1 by 4, which means that this is the first form, first part of the form, which actually has 4 parts. Okay. Similarly, on the second form here, you have 1 of 5 steps, which means that you are currently on the first step of filling up the form, and there are total 5 steps. So if you give this information, the user is prepared beforehand that there are some 5 screens which are going to come up, and I have to provide information on each of them. Otherwise, if you don't provide this information, then what will happen? Once the user fills up the first form, he will be faced with another form. Then he fills up the second form, he will be faced with a third form. So he'll not have a clear idea how many forms are there which I need to fill up. So instead of that confusion, he might leave your app and he may go on to some other app, right? So that's why it's very important to clearly specify how many steps are there that the user needs to fill up by using the form. Okay. Any doubts till now? Any doubts or clarifications that you need? Okay. So since there are no doubts, I'll proceed to the next slide. Okay. So when you have long forms which cannot fit on a single screen, and which it's not possible to break them into multiple screens also. So in that case, what should you do? So we said that when there are long forms, try to divide them across multiple screens or try to use a drill down approach. But if nothing of that sort is possible, so then what should you do? So then you should make the form scrollable. But what you should do is you should always have these 2 buttons, cancel and save button. They should always be visible on the screen. So at any time the user should be able to save whatever he has already entered, or he should be able to cancel and go back to a previous page. Okay. Now we'll talk about tables. So what are the best ways of designing tables in an app? Tables present the content in the form of rows and columns. They're used to improve the presentation and organization of densely populated content. However, due to the small screen size of your mobile devices, the purpose of making content readable and presentable using tables is not fulfilled, because even if you design tables and then structure the information properly in tables, but when the table is displayed on the small screen of a mobile device, it is not very readable and it is not very clear. So there are certain design patterns which have been used to organize content in tables so that they can be easily, they are easily readable on a mobile phone. So some of those patterns are basic table, headerless table, fixed column table, and group rows. So let us look at each of them in detail. So first of all, we'll talk about basic table. This table has a grid layout with a fixed header row. To enhance the readability of the content, what we ideally do is we apply alternate colors to the alternate rows, place a thin line between the rows to mark their separation, avoid using vertical lines below the columns. Okay, so vertical lines are actually avoided because they don't give a very good look and feel to your app. Aligning the content to the table properly. So it is advised to right align numbers and left align the text. So you can see these two images over here. The first one is an example and the second one is a non-example. So if you see in the second table, the figures which are given here, they are not aligned properly, and which is not looking very nice. But in the first table, all the data is properly organized. You can see thin rows which are demarcating one row from another, thin lines between the rows which demarcate the rows from one another, but there are no columns as such. Only way through which we are defining the columns is through proper alignment and spacing. So there are no vertical lines being used to demarcate the columns. Okay. So let me now move on to the next slide. Here we are talking about a headerless table. So if you see here, there is no header in this table. So this is a table which is kind of a list. There is no header of the table. Each row of a headerless table displays information about essential attributes of a record in a limited number of columns that can be displayed on the screen. So if you see here, so here we have highlighted this title here to emphasize on it that this is the main point that we want to focus on in each entry. Then we have other details which are written below the title of each entry, and this is how they are arranged. And each row there is a thin line which demarcates the rows from each other. Most apps use headerless tables with a single column where the thickness of each row is more as compared to a basic table. So there's a single column, there are no separate columns which are defined, but the thickness of each row is a little more, and all the details are kind of put in the same column, but the most important detail is highlighted. And other details also, you can see there are some details which are colored in a different manner or some different font to make them stand out. Okay. Then we have a fixed column table. Now in a fixed column table, so let's say I have a table in which there are some 6 rows, but at a time it is possible only to display 3 rows on the mobile phone screen. So what about the remaining columns? So what happens is, so in this case, what do? We make the first column as a fixed column. That means even when we swipe and we scroll, the fixed column does not move from its position. But the remaining columns, they can be swiped and you can scroll through all the columns in that manner. So if I swipe on the screen like this, so the second, third, fourth columns, they will kind of swipe, and you will be able to see the remaining columns which are currently not visible on the screen. But the first column will remain fixed so that you can identify what the remaining values in the remaining columns are associated with, which is because this is the most important field of this particular table, which is used to identify the other values, right? Is this part clear till now? Any queries? Okay, I have a question which says, can you show me few demos? What kind of demos do you want? Yeah, this is something like free panes Excel. So you have the first column which is kind of frozen, and you can scroll through the remaining options. So if you have a table which has multiple columns which cannot fit on a single screen, so then you can swipe and scroll between them, but the first column remains frozen. Okay, difference between basic table and fixed table. So basic table, we assume that all the information there are not too many columns, so there are only 2 or 3 columns which can be displayed on a single screen without requiring you to swipe and move forward. But in a fixed table, the thing is that you have too many columns and all of them cannot fit on a single screen, so you have the need to swipe to see all the columns. But in that case, the first column will not be swiped, it will remain fixed at its position. Okay, so somebody is asking me about demo to create tables and forms. So this part of the course is not about actually designing it. It is about understanding what are the different possibilities which are there when you are designing the form, designing the app. So it's not about actually how to design them. It's about being aware that what are the various ways in which you can design a particular app when you are developing one. Okay, so it's more about designing and not about actually creating and developing. Does that answer your query? So in the later part of the course, we will be learning how to develop apps, and then at the time of developing apps, maybe you can apply some of these design patterns. Okay. So right now it is more about understanding what kind of design patterns are generally used in the app development industry, so that you become familiar with them, and then when you design apps, you can use one of those. So in this course, we will learn about development of app. In the second, in the last session today, we will start the development part of the course, where we will learn how to develop cross-platform apps which can run on multiple platforms. Okay, but this part of the course is just dedicated to the design issues. So what are the basic design issues that that app developers generally face, and what kind of design patterns can be used to cross over those issues, or overcome those issues. Okay, and as far as developing these kind of patterns is concerned, so there are various frameworks which are available, JavaScript frameworks which are available, which provide ready-made components like these, So you can just use the maybe if you talk about Bootstrap or something, so you can simply go to the Bootstrap website, select a component that you want to use. So in whatever manner you want to use, you just read the features of that component and you just copy that code, paste it in your app, and it provides you that particular component. So you don't need to do anything about it. But this course just creates an awareness about what kind of possibilities are there while you are designing an app. Okay? Okay, so I just answered your query, Jaya, that we will be starting how to develop an app in the last session today. Okay, is zooming available in tables? Okay, so zooming, why would you need zooming? Okay, if the information in a table is clearly visible, you would not need zooming. But anyways, any app that you use, you can always zoom things. Okay, so that's a feature which is provided to you by the phone itself. So you don't need to actually do something about it, right? Okay. Okay, next we come to grouped rows design pattern for creating tables. So the grouped row design pattern enables users to view the group summary of data based on some criteria. So let's see this example over here, the first screen. You can see that there are some rows which are listed here, but at the top you have this cell which says total of payments is so much, total of principal plus interest is so much. So it's kind of summarizing whatever information is there in the rest of the table. So it's kind of a grouped row which gives the summarized information about your table. So you can wherever applicable, if you want to show this kind of information, so this is the design pattern that you can follow. Okay, so now I'm going to start with search, sort, and filter patterns. An application may need to display a large amount of data which may span across multiple screens. So in that case, it will be difficult for you to search for information. So we have some patterns. If you want to search for information, if you want to filter information, if you want to sort information. So what kind of design patterns are there which we can use? So first of all, we'll be talking about search patterns. So search patterns are, what search patterns are. You provide some search criteria, and based on that, there is some search which happens, and it gives you the search results. But there are different types of search patterns that you can use. One is your implicit search. Now, what happens in implicit search is, let me move on to the next slide, that the user is not actually searching for any information. The app itself provides him some relevant information at that particular time. So nowadays there are features in mobile devices where you can get notifications on when you reach a particular area. So you can get a net notification. Supposing that you are passing by a mall, and in the mall there is a store which is providing some offers, and you have an app from that particular store installed on your device. So if you are passing by from near that mall, so you may start getting messages from that store that there are some offers going on in the store, and you can avail those offers and get those benefits. So here the user was not actually searching for any information, but the app itself is providing some relevant information to the user. So this is what is known as implicit search. Then we have explicit search, where we have to actually type in some search criteria and click the search button, and we get some search results. So this is another pattern that is commonly used across many websites. Explicit search design pattern performs search on user's choice. It provides a search text box along with a search button or icon. The users type the text in the search text box and tap the icon to begin the search process. So this is a very most common type of search criteria which you would have already seen on many websites. Then we have autocomplete. Autocomplete is when, let's say, you log in you want to provide your login name and password to log on to a particular app. So since you had also provided your login and password last time when you entered, so when you start typing your login name, it kind of auto completes it and shows you it as an option, and you can just directly select that option from the drop down list. So this is what is known as autocomplete, where the provision to autofill whatever you had filled last time, it pops up on its own, so and you can select it. This is called autocomplete. Then we have scoped search, like you have on Google Play Store. So you provide a search criteria and then you select one of these options, so apps, whether you want to search for apps or games or movies. So it scopes down your search. So when you have provided the search criteria and you scoped it down to apps, so only apps will be searched. If you have scoped it down to games, so only games with that name will be searched. Okay, so this is called scoped search because you have done some scoping on the search results. Then we have dynamic search. Now in dynamic search, what happens is on any search engine or even on Google Play Store, when you type something, it shows all matching records till then, and when you keep on typing, so it filters the records, it filters the entries based on whatever you are typing. Okay, so the number of entries keeps on reducing based on whatever you have typed till now. So this is known as dynamic search. Any queries till now? Okay. Then we have filter patterns. So we have covered search patterns. Now we'll come to filter patterns. Filters help designers to improve the UX by extracting the relevant information. So filtering means that whatever search criteria you provide, based on that, it will filter the search results and then it will show it to you. To use filters in mobile apps, designers use a number of design patterns known as filter design patterns. Some of the commonly used filter design patterns are on-screen filter, filter overlay, filter form, and filter drawer. So let us look at all of these one by one. So first of all, we have on-screen filter. So on-screen filter, what happens is that you provide a search criteria, and on the screen you have these options here, like you have on the Google search app. So you can either see all web content, or you can see just the images or just the videos. So based on whatever option you select here, only that kind of options will be displayed as search results. Then we have filter overlay. In filter overlay, what happens is that you have some option on the screen to filter the search results. So here we have this button at the bottom of the first screen here. We have filter results. So once the user clicks the filter results button, so there's an overlay which kind of overlaps the current screen, and it shows certain options which the user can select to provide the filter criteria. And then when he clicks on the apply button, the filter is applied on the search result. So this is called filter overlay because there is an overlay which overlaps the current screen, and where you provide all the information about what filter criteria you want to apply, and then the filter criteria is applied on the search result. Then you have filter form. Now, filter form design pattern requires more user interaction as compared to your filter form filter overlay and your on-screen filter. Now here what happens is, again we have an option on this first screen to open a new form where we provide the options to filter the results. Okay, sorry, this is the option filter results. So here we have the option so we click on this option, and then this form opens up where we can provide the filter criteria. So we can provide filter criteria on various options, like on the price or on the brand and several other things which are there. And then we can apply the filter and it will be applied to the form. Okay, so this is used when you want to do some nested or hierarchical selections. So let's say I want to look for a particular brand, and within that brand I want to look for a particular price range. So it's a hierarchy of things that I want. So when this kind of a thing is there, I need to use the filter form design pattern. Okay, somebody has said filter form and on-screen is not clear. Filter overlay and on-screen filter. See, on-screen filter is something like you have on your Google app. I'm sure all of you must have used the Google app on your phone. So when you use this app, you provide the search criteria in the text box here, and then by default all options, whether they are images or videos or simple text, websites which contain that particular information, everything is displayed. But you can filter the search results by clicking one of these links. So if you click on images, only images will be displayed. The rest of the information will not be displayed. So you have filtered your search results based on a particular criteria. So this is called on-screen filter because all the options are directly available on your screen. So if you want to filter by images, you can click the images button over here, and only the images will be displayed. If you want only videos, you can click on videos, and all the search results, video search results will be displayed. So filtering will be done based on this particular criteria. And since all the options are available on the screen, this is called on-screen filter. But in case of an overlay filter, all the options for filtering are not available on the screen. You need to click a button or something to go to a screen where you provide the filter criteria. So here we click on this button, and then another new window opens, or another screen or overlay opens on top of your current screen, where you provide the filter criteria, and then you apply that filter criteria, and then it's applied to your search result. Is this clear now? Okay. Okay. And the third one, filter form. Is filter form also clear? Filter form is clear? Okay. Anybody who has not understood anything till now? Okay. So filter form is clear to all of you. So let me move on to the next slide. So here we have filter drawer. So it's like a side drawer which kind of comes from the side. The filter drawer design pattern also requires an additional tab to apply the filter. The filter drawer displays filter options on a new screen, partially hiding the currently active screen. So it kind of comes as a drawer, and it partially hides the screen. And here you can specify your search criteria and then apply, and then the search criteria will be applied to your search results. Now come to sort patterns. Now what are sort patterns? Mobile UX designers improve the mobile UX by including sort feature using the mobile sort design pattern. So there are some sort design patterns like on-screen sort, sort overlay, and sort form. So we'll discuss each of these in detail. What are the topics important for facts? What facts? Do you mean FACT? Yeah, Soumya. Do you mean what kind of questions are there in FACT? See, FACT, this part of the course is completely theoretical. So FACT questions are all theoretical. Whatever is there in the book, questions will come only from that, nothing outside the book. Okay. But the remaining part of the course, which we will be starting from day end today, the last session today, it is quite practical and hands-on, and you will have codes and everything. So that part will be, questions will be all kinds, application of the concepts, writing codes and everything. So those kind of questions will be there. But this part of the course is kind of theoretical. So whatever we are discussing in the sessions, so it will be something on those lines only. Okay, so on-screen sort design pattern displays sort options in the form of toggle buttons on the screen. Okay, so here if you see this particular screen, you have a popular button here and a price button here. So what would this do? It will sort the search results on the basis of price or on the basis of popularity. So whichever button you select. Okay. Then, so this is on screen because both the options are available directly on the screen. But in sort overlay, the options are not directly available on the screen. You need to click a button. So here we have a sort by button over here. So when we click on this button, then this overlay kind of a thing opens, and there you can specify whether you want to sort by popularity or by price high to low or by price low to high or by discount or by newest first. So whichever options you want to select, you select it, and then finally the search results are sorted based on that particular sort criteria. Then we have a sort form. The sort form design patterns involve more user interactions to perform sorting compared to on-screen sort and sort overlay. The user needs to perform some additional taps to confirm and apply the selections. The user may need to make an additional tap to hide the screen containing the sort options to view the sort results. The sort form looks similar to a filter form. Okay, so it is quite similar to a filter form that we saw earlier. So you can provide multiple options, hierarchical options. That first I want to sort by price, and within the price I want to sort by brand. So those kind of a thing can be done when using the sort form. The sort and filter functionalities are used to refine data. Therefore, some apps provide both the functionalities in a single form. However, this may result in long uncluttered screen. Okay, so if you plan to include both the sort and filter functionalities on a single form, you should ensure that the content is concise and uncluttered. We have a problem statement here. So I would want you to go through this activity during the break after this session. So right now I'm skipping it. Okay, so basically what this activity involves is it shows you a couple of it shows you some screens and asks you which design patterns have been applied in this particular screen. So you have to analyze the screen and see what kind of design pattern has been applied, and then accordingly you have to respond. So please do complete this activity during the break. Again, there's an animation which explains about feedback and affordance patterns, which you should watch during the break. Okay, now what is feedback and what is affordance? Now, whenever you interact with an app, it always provides you some kind of feedback on every action that you perform. So let's say if I'm using a phone app to make a phone call, so when I dial a number on an Android or something, so when I dial a number, and I swipe it like this, so it shows the button being colored. As I swipe it, it gets colored. It changes color. So this is nothing but feedback. So it is providing me feedback that yes, I have accepted your input. Okay. So in case it doesn't provide me that feedback, I might feel that I don't know whether the phone call has been made or not, or whether it is doing something, whether it is accepting my input or not. But it clearly shows me that yes, as I'm swiping, the color keeps changing, so it gives me feedback that yes, I'm accepting your input. Okay, so that is called feedback. So feedback could be in the form of a confirmation message, like I click the save button and it shows me that your record has been saved. Okay, so it's like a confirmation, it's like a feedback to me that yes, whatever you wanted to do has been done. Okay, and if there was some error while saving, so it should show me some error that connectivity is not there, so your error could not, so your record could not be saved. So again, it gives me a feedback that okay, whatever you were trying to do, it has not been successful, and you need to do it again. Okay. So that's about feedback, and then the affordance. Now, what is affordance? Affordance means by looking at an object, you should be able to identify what this object is intended to do. Like when you look at a button, you should know that you have to click it. Or then if I have a home-shaped icon on the screen, I know that this will take me to the home page. Okay, so this is affordance. So just by looking at a particular component on the screen, you get to know what is it that you have to do with this component. So let us first look at the feedback patterns. So there are three types of feedback patterns: confirmation, error message, and system status. So confirmation, as I said, that when you save a record, it says something like draft saved or some record saved. So it gives me a message which tells me that whatever I was trying to do has been successfully completed. Okay, so this is a feedback. This is a confirmation pattern. The confirmation may not be just only in the form of a message. As I said, when I make a phone call, it changes color. So it could be in the form of the styling, the animation, or some inline message that you confirm that whatever action you were trying to perform has been completed. Then we talked about error messages. So when you are giving an error message, your error message should clearly explain what is the error which has happened and what you need to do about it. So like this one says, the mobile service encountered a problem. Please try again in a short while. So it gives me a clear picture of what is wrong and what I need to do to make it right. Error message should be highly visible on the screen. So it should not be something like it just pops up and goes away without the user even noticing it. So it should be clearly visible. So like you can see that there is an OK button here. So unless the user clicks the OK button, it will not go off. Right? So it will make sure that the user has read the error message. Okay. Then the system status. So when something is happening, so let's say I'm starting up an app, and it is taking a lot of time to come up. It is taking a lot of time to load. So in that case, I should keep getting some status of what the app is doing. That app is actually doing something. So if if I don't get that kind of a thing, I might feel that the app is not responding. So if it is taking too much time to load, so I might feel that the app is not responding. But if I keep doing something, maybe if I show a progress bar, or if I show something like, like this example which is given over here. So when I try to upload, when I try to open a music app, so first of all, this kind of an icon comes, and then the entire screen becomes colored, and there's an icon at the center, and then the background changes, and then pictures start coming. So gradually the page keeps loading. So before the content of the page appears, a skeleton structure of the app starts appearing on the page, which gives me the confidence that the app is doing something about my request. So it's not that it has stopped responding. So this is another kind of a pattern that we generally use. Then affordance. Now, what is affordance? As we discussed, it specifies the usability of an object. It lets users understand that the screen object can be used to perform a particular action. So in apps, buttons and sliders are common examples of affordance. Most devices support single and multi-touch gestures, where each gesture has some affordance associated with it. So let us look at what kind of affordance we're talking about. So affordance associated with tap. So tapping allows users to access the actionable elements on the screen. To provide affordance for tapping, visual design techniques such as beveling and shadows have been used. So earlier they were used, beveling and shadows, they were used to make a button, so that just by looking at it, the user knows that it is something that can be pressed or clicked. But nowadays, the flat design is becoming very popular. So those beveling and shadowing techniques are not being used these days. So like this is a flat design pattern, and users are like quite clear of what to do with them because it has become quite common. I'll come back to on-screen sort in a while. Somebody has put up a query on that, so I'll come back to it on a while. First, let me finish this. Okay. Okay. So this was about tapping. Then swiping and flicking. So when you look at this screen, so you can see there are some pictures which are appearing completely, but there are some pictures towards the edge which are not kind of appearing completely. So what does this tell me about this particular screen? Basically, it tells me that there is something hidden behind this edge, and you can see it by swiping the screen towards the left, right? So just by looking at it, I know that there is something hidden behind it. So maybe just the natural instinct of humans would be that you will swipe to the left, and they will try to see what is hidden behind the edge. So just by looking at it, I know what needs to be done to look at to see the images which are hidden. So this is one kind of affordance. Then drag. So when you have a slider control which looks like this, so different color on this side, different color on this side. So just by looking at it, you know that I have to drag it towards left or right. So it's kind of makes your app intuitive. People don't have to be trained on what needs to be done. They just look at it and they get to know that this is how it will operate. So affordance is all about making your app intuitive. Okay, so again we have an activity here, identifying feedback and affordance patterns, which I would want you to go through during the break, and after in the next session we will, if there are any queries around that, I'll be happy to discuss that. Okay. So with that, I'll be closing this session. Okay, I have a query, so let me first handle that. On-screen sort. Okay, so on-screen sort is the most simple thing. So basically what it means is that you have the sorting options available on the screen, and with just a single tap you can apply those sorting options. Okay, so here it is. So here on this screen what you can see is a list of search results. Okay, and there are two buttons at the bottom, popular and price. So when you click on popular, it will sort the search results based on the popularity, and if you click on price, it will sort the search results based on the price. Okay, so all the options which are required are available on the screen itself, and you don't need to actually go to another screen to specify the sorting options. So that is why this is called on-screen sort. So the sorting options are available on the same screen. You don't need to go to a different screen to apply the sorting options. Is that clear now? Yeah, is on-screen sort clear? Somebody from Sham Bazaar had put me this question. Let me take him on here. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. Good morning.
Yeah, you had put me a query regarding on-screen sort. So I have already answered that query. Just wanted to check if it is clear with you, because you were not responding to my question.
Sorry, ma'am.
So that's why I took
Actually, ma'am, on-screen sort is not clear because suppose in case of sort overlaying, I can click on the button, but actually, what is the example of on-screen sort?
Sorry?
No. Actually, what is the example of on-screen sort? Suppose I have opened an app of Flipkart and they're showing some product of mobile phones.
So let's say popularity. So I just explained, no? So there is a popular button and there is a price button on this screen, which you can see on your monitor. Okay, so there is a popular button. So when you click on the popular button, so it gets sorted by popularity. So whichever item is most popular will be at the top, and whichever is the least popular will be at the bottom.
Okay, that means a single button will be click for ascending or descending order.
Sorry?
A single button is used to sorting for ascending or descending order.
For ascending or descending order, it will be basically see, when you sort by popularity, definitely you don't want to see the least popular items. Okay, so when a customer goes to a website to shop something, he would always want to shop on the most popular items and not the least popular items, right? So at times it is quite understood that it's quite obvious that it has to be in a particular order. So you don't have to explicitly ask the user whether you want it to be in the sorting order or in the ascending order or in the descending order. Right? Yes. Similarly, if I have to sort on price, customer will be interested in looking at items which are the least price rather than looking at items which are the most price. Yeah. So that is why in this particular case, asking the user on whether you want to sort on the descending order or the ascending order is not required typically. But if you want to do that, then you have other options to do that. You have sort overlay to do that. You have form to do that. Sort form pattern to do that. But in case it is not required and you want to just, and it is quite obvious that the user will be wanting to sort it in a particular order, maybe either descending or ascending, so then you can use a particular option.
Okay.
Or constant. Is that clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so with this we have reached the end of this particular session. So I would want you to go back during the breaks and look at all the activities that were there and the exercises of chapter 3. So I hope yesterday you have completed all the activities and exercises of chapter 1 and 2. Yes or no? Please respond. Were there any issues, any queries, any problems? I've I've received 3 responses of yes. What about the others? So you have okay. So Jaya has not seen the animations but has completed the activities. Jaya, you should also go and see the animations. Okay, Mahalakshmi, if you have not been able to copy the VHD, I think you need to escalate it to the person who has sent it to you. What about the others? Others have been able to copy the VHD. So we'll need the VHD today for today's session. So if you have still not got it, because yesterday I informed you that we'll be needing the VHD today. So I hope all of you have copied the VHD. Okay, Jaya is complaining that all VHDs didn't get copied. What about the others? Mahalakshmi is also complaining that first PhD didn't get copied. CP, you didn't face any problems while copying the VHD? So the same copy of VHDs has been sent to everybody. So I don't know why CP is not facing any problem while all the others are facing problems. CP, I'm taking you on air. Hello.
Hello,
Yeah, can I have your good name?
Swati.
Okay, hi Swati. Swati, you have been able to copy all the VHDs, all the VHD files?
Yes, ma'am. All the VHD files have been copied.
And you
the
tried
TIM as
running
well.
the virtual machine?
Ma'am, I will try it in the break. I will talk to my team and I'll try it running in the break. They all are copied.
And you didn't find, didn't get any errors while copying the VHD?
No, ma'am. Nothing was escalated from my TMI, so it was all copied and he has sent it to me. And I will make sure that it operates in the break. I will operate it and then revert back to you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Swati.
Thank you, ma'am.
When you're copying, it's hanging the system. Ten VHDs are damaged. Shambazar, if you didn't get the VHT, then you need to actually the VHT is available at the hub center where you were supposed to attend the training. You need to contact them to check whether the VHT is there or not. So I'm not sure why this is not happening for you guys, because if it has happened for CP, then it should happen with you guys also, because the same copy of the VHT has been sent to everyone. Anyways, I'll discuss it with the relevant person during the break, and I'll let you know. But if the VHT is not there, then there's no point in having this training. First thing, before we started attending this training, we should have copied the VHT and ensured that everything works. Anyways, so let's close this session as of now. So now we will meet at 1:30. Okay, and I hope all of you will complete all the activities, view all the animations, and do all the exercises which are given at the end of the first 3 chapters. Okay. So see you at 1:30.